In today's video, we have to talk about these Spider-Man leaks, spoilers, whatever they are. They showed up. They've appeared on Amazon for pre-sale, and we have a lot of players talking about what's happening. Now, of course, on the heels of Tarkir pre-orders as well as Final Fantasy, players are starting to wonder, when is this ride going to stop? So first we had Final Fantasy. Those collector boxes are still the most sought after thing I've seen in years. Then Tarkir Dragonstorm hits the show, and we see new spoilers and cards with dragons with Storm again, and players are getting excited, wondering what comes next. How can this get any bigger? Then you get Spider-Man, and there's a lot to talk about with what they've just done with this product. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today for another video. A reminder, if you want to support my channel, like and subscribe. Help me get closer to the grand total I'm looking for of 30,000 subs. You guys make it happen by being here every day, giving the videos a thumbs up and making sure you watch the video. So thanks again, everyone who takes the time and enjoys hanging out with me. So we got Spider-Man coming around the corner out of the blue. This weekend, you probably saw it come up on multiple channels. I'm a little bit late to the party when it comes to this stuff because I had the top 10 videos to cover and I don't have a lot more time in my day to break this down. But now we get an opportunity to really look at the cards, break down what we're talking about, and see where they're going to lead us. Now, those cards, the 6 that they spoiled, I have added into today's video. They are further down the line. You can go check them out, or you can skip right by them if you've already seen them. It could save you some time or maybe give you some much needed information. But the first thing I want to share with you is one of the most important in my mind. That is the price. This screenshot, this is taken from Amazon.com. You can see here the price says $209.70. Now that is a US price. If we add another 30-40% into a Canadian plus like the taxes, import fees, and shipping, this is going to be exactly like Final Fantasy. This product is going to run you around $300 Canadian to get this thing into your house. And let's not forget, this is not 36 packs. Since Aether Drift, we have dropped down to 30. This is a standard product, so in a lot of people's minds, as if it wasn't bad enough with Final Fantasy price getting jacked up as an IP product with a special price, we are now getting it with Spider-Man. Now, I understand there's going to be a lot of excitement for Spider-Man. I also know some of these cards were kind of meh in most people's eyes, but that's because it has to fit into the world of standard. It has to be intermingled with all the regular IPs that Wizards of the Coast, has. You got to mix Spider-Man in with Bloomburrow, with Duskmourn and Horror, kind of like a rip-off of Ghostbusters. We got to jump over to Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and then we got to somewhere fit in Aether Drift with all kinds of racing cars. This all has to meld together. They can't have an overpowered Spider-Man set, but they can offer something players have been looking for, and that is just some crazy good times. But those prices, and what I want to focus here, is on the price they are charging you. So you are aware and cognizant of the choices you're making. Because on the surface, it may not seem like a big deal, but every time we have successive products like this, and the price goes up by $1 or $2 or $3 or $4, this is a green light to that company. This is a all full steam ahead. These prices, players are willing to accept. Now, with Final Fantasy boxes approaching the $700 mark US, we can expect similar things with the Spider-Man. Now, I know that it was briefly up on Amazon.com, the Spider-Man collector boxes. I did not get any screenshots showing the prices. I couldn't get anyone I knew take a shot. So if you have that information, I would love if you could send me a screenshot just so I have it for future reference, because we also know that Amazon is a testing ground for their prices. And prices can fluctuate on some of these products, but with Wizards of the Coast tightening up on collector boxes, we know that those prices are likely going to be higher in the long run just because of how they're going to put these things together. Now, that being said, they have offered a few other tidbits of information, okay? Now, what I mean by that, let me show you this here. With Wizards of the Coast adding back in welcome decks, giving us bundle packs that have really cool packaging. You can see here Venom and Spider-Man, but it has that kind of comic book look to it, as well as the guaranteed foil in every pack, as if, the comic is speaking to you. These are going to be a lot of high points that players look for on the surface, but that doesn't mean the product is going to be everything you need. And because it's a standard product and there'll be a limit on the power level they can give you, well, that's what leads us down to this next part of the video. Let me share with you guys the 6 spoiler cards that they've showed everyone. Now, if you haven't seen these, it'll be new information, but if you have seen it, you probably just want to skip right by, but there might be something new you didn't hear before, so let's take a look at that. So the first card we are going to talk about is the sensational Spider-Man. This card is a 3/3 and it costs 3. 1 blue, 1 white, and 1 other. Now the card states it's a legendary creature, spider, human, hero. Whenever sensational Spider-Man attacks, tap target creature defending player controls and put a stun counter on it. Then you may remove up to 3 stun counters from among all permanents. Draw cards equal to the number of stun counters removed this way. It's an interesting card. And don't underplay all the small things like Spider, Human, and Hero, because there's other cards that affect those in Magic the Gathering. Then we have our next card, Venom, the Deadly Devourer. This is a 4 casting cost 4/4. 1 green, 1 black, 2 other, legendary creature, symbiote villain. It has vigilance and menace, and you can pay 3, exile target creature card from a graveyard. When you do, put X +1/+1 counters on a target symbiote, where X is the exiled card's toughness. It kind of reminds me of a mass a little bit when I look at this card, but this is where we are for Venom. Now, for our next cards, we have Doc Ock, the Evil Inventor, and we have Grasping Tentacles. We'll start with Doc Ock, and he has a 7 casting cost 8/8. He is a 1 black, 1 blue, and 5 other. Legendary creature, human, scientist, villain. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target non-creature artifact you control becomes an 8/8 robot villain artifact creature in addition to its other types. You notice it doesn't say until end of turn. It just says it's an 8/8 robot villain. So take a look at all those little pest mites and stuff from like the Urza's War and all that. You could have some very big Phyrexian little mini guys coming around. Pay attention to cards like this, especially if you can sneak them onto the battlefield. Now the next card is Grasping Tentacles. This is a very interesting card that a lot of players are talking about. 1 black, 1 blue, and 1 other. This sorcery states target opponent mills 8 cards. You may put an artifact card from that player's graveyard under the battlefield under your control. I can take it out of their graveyard, put it on my battlefield, and then I can make it technically into like an 8/8. Yeah, you can see where this is all linking together. And a lot of players will say these cards are kind of meh. They're kind of like not that great. They kind of are like mid. I understand that, but the way they're going to fit together, and well, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's look at the last set of cards. The next ones are Green Goblin Nemesis and Pumpkin Bombs, which are an artifact. Now the Green Goblin Nemesis is a 4 casting cost 3/3. That's 1 red, 1 black, and 2 other. This creature has flying. He is a legendary creature, goblin, human, villain. Goblin decks, hey, who knows? Flying. Whenever you discard a non-land card, put a +1/+1 counter on a target goblin you control. Whenever you discard a land card, create a tapped treasure token. Okay, so maybe there's something there. That doesn't seem that exciting to me, but you never know. Now, Pumpkin Bombs. That's an artifact that costs 1 red and 1 other. You can tap it to discard 2 cards and draw 3 cards. That kind of reminds me of Bazaar at Baghdad. Then you put a fuse counter on this artifact. It deals damage equal to the number of fuse counters on it to a target opponent. They gain control of this artifact. So depending on how it's being used, this is going to bounce around a little bit, but maybe you have a way of destroying it before it gets too scary. I'm just saying. Anyway, these are the cards at hand. Now let's discuss this for a minute. Now after taking a look at the Spider-Man leaks, the spoilers, whatever you want to call them, the hype, the bullet train, when we look at these cards, a lot of players are going to come to the conclusion that they're not worth the money. The price of the box is at a premium level, and we've been downgraded to 30 packs. But you're still expecting us, because it has a Spider-Man image, to pay the top dollar. Now, I'm not saying there's not going to be some great cards in there that are going to be utilized by a lot of players. I'm saying on the surface, before we get to the actual set, this doesn't look like nearly enough excitement to warrant the price tag being attached. The fact we have no commander decks with powerful cards that can be played separately also kind of takes away a little bit from the mystique of what we'd be hoping to see for a power level, but it does remind you of a set we saw a few years ago, and that is Dungeons & Dragons Adventures in Forgotten Realms. It seems to have the great artistry and imagery and the flavor, but not the power level that players are craving when they think of their favorite iconic heroes, and Spider-Man ranks up there for most of us as a childhood hero from the comics. So I'll be interested to see what you guys think in the comments sections. Is this something that grabs you? Do you like the idea of it, or do you think it's going to be overpriced at $209 a box, maybe going up, maybe going down, but either way, it's got our attention. Now, what are we going to do about it? Thanks again for hanging out with me. I look forward to seeing those comments in the comments section, and I look forward, of course, to bringing you another video tomorrow. So shop smart, shop S-Mart, and remember, Spider-Man costs you a lot, but he is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble you made to the end. Yes, I redid the whole video because I had all the information, which is good. Only took a couple of takes, got it all wound up really good. Took a bit of the information from before, wrapped it into a new candy wrapper, and said, hey, the sound came out pretty good. Now, I gotta be honest though, guys. Spider-Man's, it looks nice in imagery, but it reminds me of D&D. It does. That's why I mentioned it at the end of the video. What do you guys think? I'm thinking about it. Ramble Jamble.